What's going on, guys? Welcome to In the Zone. I'm your host, Garrison Roy, and today we are going to go on a little bit of a mental minute episode. But if you're new to the podcast, we have full-length interviews, we have rants, we go and vent or discuss hot topics that are going on in the industry, and then also deep dive educational explorations that are getting into the nitty-gritty or the small intricacies of the game. And today we're going to talk about controlling the controllables, right? And this may sound like a broken record to some of you, but I do think it's something that you have to really reiterate and um, just kind of get right into it. So obviously, you hear this term being bounced around a lot: control the controllables, right? Hey, you can't control this. You can't get frustrated on what the umpire says. You can't control what your teammates do if they make an error behind you, or things that happen, or what the umpire is calling if it's squeezing you. Maybe your coach put you in a bad position. You came in with the bases loaded, or whatever kind of excuse you want to put in there. It's really boils down to the main things that you can control, which are the following: your attitude, your effort, your work ethic, right? And just little things like being on time, being coachable is a good one that people bring up. But also being a great teammate, which I talked about in a previous podcast. Being a lifelong learner, so always trying to learn things, always trying to add and grow, really just kind of getting into a growth mindset, and just always being prepared for whatever it is, whatever's thrown your way. You got to be ready to rock and roll. Um, and yeah, it all boils down to the attitude, your preparation, and your effort, right? Those are the three things that you really can control. But like I said, those things that are outside of your control, maybe even the weather could be one of those. Could be your opponent that you're facing. Maybe they, you know, are being a little, for lack of better terms, like, they could steal signs or they could do whatever. Like, obviously, you can't control them stealing them, but you can go in, and it's all about how you respond and react. Are you going to go in and actually fix those things? Right. But it's really important that you guys focus on your thoughts and how you speak to yourself, how you are handling challenges that are put your way, right? Or the goals that you're setting. Are you actually putting action towards the goals that you set maybe earlier this year or earlier in the season, right? What are you actually putting all your energy towards? Are you going home and you're just like, hey, I did my stuff for today, whatever, I'm just going to go watch Netflix or watch the next newest show that you got? Or are you actually going to go in and put in the work, put in the training, and get better? Maybe it's even just reviewing some film or finding out, hey, like, what happened on this past outing. And again, you don't want to obsess over this. There is a fine line where there's a review and then there's like an obsession where you're constantly watching it over and over and over again. I think you need to at least look at it, find out what worked, what didn't work, and what you can do better in your next outing, and go on from there, right? Then you just have to actually put in the work. But a lot of things where, if you are not letting those controllables stay in the forefront of your mind, you're looking at things out of your control, you can also tend to turn towards more of a victim mentality where you're like, oh, this is a bad call, or oh, I was safe, I wasn't out, or oh, like, insert whatever you want to there. Uh, but you got to know that dwelling on the past or dwelling on the bad calls, dwelling on those things are not going to help set you up for success in your next pitch, your next AB, or your next outing. It's something that you have to diligently go after and be ready for that next pitch, right? A really cool quote that I heard from Tom House way back when. He was like, hey, what's the most important pitch in baseball? Everyone was like, oh, strike one. Or, hey, no, yeah, changeup's the best pitch in baseball. And he was like, actually, it's the next one, right? Always be looking to the present moment, being where your feet are. Don't dwell on the past. Don't look too far into the future. And that's where some guys, especially in winning teams, they get a little ahead of themselves where they think that they're going to just roll through a team, or like, oh, hey, we beat these guys before, or they're not a whole lot. And then turns out bottom of the ninth inning, they're either tied or maybe even behind because they didn't take it as seriously. So again, those are some of those things. If you're looking too far into the future, or if you're focused on, trying to get a scholarship, or you're trying to go to that next level and you're so focused on the thing that's ahead of you that you're not being present, that also is something out of your control. But you can control where you are for this next pitch. You can control your breathing. And I think that's the biggest thing. If you feel like you're getting out of control or spiraling out, always go back to your breath, right? Obviously, Ken Revisa, Dr. Tom Hansen talked this a lot in their book, Heads Up Baseball and Heads Up Baseball 2.0. But really just focusing, honing in on your breathing, right? Finding a focal point or finding something that helps recenter you and get you back in, and not letting yourself spiral out from a green to a yellow to a red light where you're basically panicking or losing it, right? And I'm not saying you shouldn't show any emotion or not, maybe get frustrated. Like that's human nature, right? You're not going to be a superhuman, right? But it's good to know, okay, hey, maybe I just get upset for this little bit and then I flush it, I leave it, and on to the next one, right? So hopefully you guys got something out of this quick mental minute, or if you know anyone who needs to listen to this, please share it to them, because we don't run ads or do sponsorships or monetize the show in any way. We just believe in value exchange. So if you keep sharing it, we'll keep making these episodes, and appreciate you all listening. Stay in the zone.